Oh no, why did I do that? Why did I do that? There it is.
Okay.
Wait. Mm-hmm. Need a minute. Alright. Alright. Studio silence. Mics are up.
Welcome inside the locker room.
Good morning, Lagos. You're tuned in and listening to Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1, and you are welcome inside the locker room. It is with Valentine
And Folu.
and, of course, Tega Onojaife, who's
Hey,
going to
Tega.
take us into the world of sports.
Good morning, Lagos.
Hey, just doing her
Welcome
best to
to the week.
just wake up and just ginger. Just come on.
Wake up.
Shake it up, girl. If you want to see what we're talking about, go over to our YouTube channel, right Smooth 981 FM. Very straightforward. And now, as we're about to delve into the sports stories for this morning, also join us in our analysis by sending in your comments and your opinions to us, both on our YouTube live stream, but also on Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter at Smooth91FM. Use that hashtag LockerRoom91. Our WhatsApp number for the WhatsApp messages is 0809 444 0981.
Yeah,
That's
sign
the
languaging
sign
there. It's fantastic. You need to just see it on
Love
YouTube
it.
because I'm expanding and broadening my horizons.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's delve into the first story. Let's talk about Asaba 2018, the AAC. 15 countries are on ground. Others are expected today. Now, Botswana were the early birds of the 21st African Athletics Championships built for August 1 to 5th. But at the last count yesterday, more than 15 countries have touched down in Asaba, Delta State. Meanwhile, South Africa, whose athletes were seen yesterday in Asaba, said that they are ready to dominate the championships and maintain its vice grip on top of the medals table. Now, South Africa did come in with a strong team, including world champion Caster Semenya.
I'm telling you.
Ooh, Caster. And Luvo Manyonga for the men's long jump. And his compatriot Kotso Mokoena is also in Asaba to vie for the title. And Mokoena actually said this. He says, for me, the goal is to get the title and definitely to go to the Continental Cup. And I feel like I'm the best in Africa right now. And I just have to prove it. When you're rolling in with names like
I'm
Caster
telling
and Co,
you.
you have to flex also.
I mean, so they're talking, and then Simbine, he's a sprint athlete, was now so flexible. So I was like, dude,
Stop it.
you came seventh
Stop
last
it.
time I saw. Don't be trying us. But welcome to Nigeria.
Yes, and it's very exciting because I will say, even at the airport as I was coming in, you have a few of the trolleys that do have the Asaba 2018 championship
Yes,
stuff.
yeah. Go to Asaba. So we have to be in Asaba.
So if I take a flight going to Asaba now, will I use that trolley for free? Sorry. Sorry, go on.
So let me answer the questions that are important.
Oh my days.
So basically, the athletes have arrived, and from this championships, they're going to select the African athletes that will be going to the Czech Republic later on to compete at the IAAF tournament. Yes, that's what it is. So you have to hustle for your position. I like the way the South Africans have come in, and they're very confident. You know, their sports development has gone from one level to the
another,
other.
yeah.
Sponsorships, private sponsorships, developmental projects, grassroots projects. So I mean, when they come in, when they walk around, they think, you know how the Americans walk around when they go for the Olympics.
Swag.
That's
Everybody
exactly
with
how
sunshades.
that's exactly how the South Africans are doing here. And then the ones that are left, you know, the Kenyans are just looking at us like, yeah, we're ready to sprint away your
Still
money.
faster.
Yeah, true. They're like, okay, but I do like that about the Eastern African
do.
countries. There isn't too much noise making about that,
Yeah,
but you know that
yeah,
they
you
mean
know
business.
that they mean business. Yes. So it's already there's already there's life in Asaba right now. A lot of noise, a lot of athletes just all over the place looking at the beautiful village and town because it's kind of one and it's kind of a village and town at the same time. So it is interesting to see. What it is that, I mean, everybody coming in seems to be ready for this, but the athletes at home are just whimpering around like we're not making any noise. You know, look, if this were AFCON, you know how the Super Eagles will be.
Hey,
Do you understand?
Jersey
But
photo shoot
these
first.
athletes are just like, let's just make it through qualification. It's like it's almost as if we are just the best news is that we are the ones hosting, so it's
Yes.
our town.
So
you can't try
you
us.
feel that a lot of the Nigerian athletes are feeling a little bit
Yes,
intimidated right
they
now.
are feeling intimidated, and it doesn't even help that the trials and the preparation to the build up of this was not very good. There's struggles, there's protests everywhere. So there's a lot that the African athletes, the Nigerian contingent are a bit wary about. But we have a few international athletes that can come in and make things happen. It's just that it's not enough events.
Yeah, this is true.
So
'Cause I will be honest, I'm here planning how I can be Asaba like the first 5 days of August, and it's really to high five Caster. Like I'll be wearing Caster shirt, like
look,
Caster.
let me tell you, I'm supposed to be covering the whole event. I'll be stalking the lady like Casta, come.
Please.
Just come
Just
here.
high five me. That's all I just high five.
You know, I'm in your corner. Just sign this autograph first before continuing this game. But
Nice
then,
one.
that might just not be the same sentiment shared by the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup team, the Nigerian contingent. So the Nigerian team for that FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, the Falconnets, they said they had their morale boosted in the training camp when Sports Minister Solomon Dalung gave them $7,000. So the girls and their coaches have been going on without any allowance since they started training and playing their qualifying matches for the tournament later in the year in France. According to a statement that was quoted Dalung when he was queried, he said, "My passion for women's football is high, and I do not like the idea of treating people differently. I do not like injustice, and it does not look fair for them to be in camp without their entitlements. These are young players, and if you do not give them moral support they need now, when will you do that?"
Okay.
And I had to check the name again. Is it Dalung that's actually
Look,
saying
he's
this?
politicking, he's politics now. Why are you like this?
Wow.
Firstly, I would say this for the NFF. They truly have been shameful in their treatments of every other team but the Super Eagles.
She said it with her chest.
They have been horrible, and this is where I mean, with all the the acknowledgements and encouragement and applause you give the Amaju-led board for what they've done with the Super Eagles, with other national teams, they have fallen short. The incompetence, the neglect, the everything just shows with the other teams, and that's where the opposition seems to use to brag against them. So when it's time for other teams to show up, because the Amaju-led board hasn't really shown up for the women's team, and whether it's 8th grade or the Super Falcons or for other men's national team, the opposition just uses that to play their
Intimidate,
politics.
absolutely.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you leave a door open for people to question you. And I know we can say yes that the problem with the Giwa-led faction and the court case and everything kind of destabilized the NFF, but no. We knew we're going to the Under-20 World Cup since. So it didn't start today. The neglect didn't start today. The qualifiers didn't start during this crisis with Chris Giwa. From prior to the World Cup, it has been the Super Eagles. After the World Cup, it has been the Super Eagles. And they've been other... I mean, when you do one good thing, don't do 4 bad things. Because that's what's... So yes, the ladies have been... The girls, rather, have been suffering. And unfortunately, this opportunity for people to do anything. Those people that want to do PR will do PR with them. Those people that want to do politics will do politics with them. At the end of the day, the girls are not there for anything. The girls are just there to collect welfare. And so once they give them the welfare, I mean, if you see the way they were so grateful, you know, when you have been in the desert, you see a stream, a cup of water. You know how that's exactly how they reacted to the minister coming to the camp to give them some money. Yes, it was cash. Yes, it looked tacky, but money is money at the end of the day.
Yikes.
So really, the Amaju-led board, this is a shameful act. And we've said it over and over again. We said it for the Super Falcons. We're saying it with the Under-20 Women's World Cup. We keep saying it over and over again. You cannot be the Nigerian Football Federation of the Super Eagles. You have to be Nigerian Football Federation of football everywhere. And don't open windows so that people can can come in and abuse your administration. This is an opportunity for you to say, okay, we want to do something. We've done something for the Super Eagles. Let's show that we support all the teams.
Yeah.
And nothing.
It's coming from
Nothing.
the lady in sports herself.
You're going to see after this, because of this thing that there was their pictures and everything, and it's all over the news now. You're going to see them scramble and try to do something for the girls. You can't be reacting.
Yeah, really sad stuff there. Thank you very much for that, Tega. We've got this in from Chimabi Victor just before we take a break. He says, I want to welcome all the athletes from across Africa to Asaba, where you can eat eba with draw soup in the morning. And the truth about this great state is that they are fantastically accommodating because I've been there before. So, Chimabi, I completely agree with you. Now, Lagos, we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're taking more of your comments and, of course, more sports stories inside the locker rooms. So keep it locked right here. You are listening to Smooth 98.1. Good morning.
I can't wait. I'm leaving people. I'm going to Asaba tomorrow by God's grace. I'm not coming back on Friday.
I said we'll see.
Okay, who's going to be doing sports on Friday?
I don't know yet. I will arrange it. I don't know. I'm not lying. I don't know. I'm not lying.
That's okay. Auto. I'm not even bothered. So wait, so you're going to Asaba already? Oh, it's already August.
Yes, now it's starting on the first. Wednesday, yeah. The tournament is starting on first.
Oh, like joke.
So I'm supposed to go tomorrow.
Why are you going so early? It's not time. My mind, August is like next week. Yeah. Like,
starting on the first, ending on Sunday.
Awesome, nice one. Already, so Sunday is already the 5th.
I'm telling you. Quick, before
So
you go,
fast.
20th September.
So fast. Hey. Look at
So let me go and hustle my caster Semaya.
Please.
I'm coming for you.
Still like to give us shout outs, please.
I actually thought Van Niekerk was going to come. That's what I was telling my friend. Is he here? He said, thank God. This boy is only 20. I said, leave that matter.
Irrelevant. Oh, that's so cool. No, that's nice though. Man, I was so happy when I saw that thing. I just saw the trolley. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so pretty.
But
What are you?
Oh, the trolley.
I'm the one that's touching my mind.
Fantastic.
But if David
We'll make
Rudisha
you
comes, I'll
pay
make
for.
up for it.
Yeah.
If David Rudisha comes, he'll make up for anything. David Rudisha is that hot.
Yeah, please.
I can't be talking all this things. I can't be.
I have
See my
important
nails
questions.
painted.
Hey, I have to
This
be
small
focused on the
powder.
important things too. Valentine is dying here. He's like, Folu, what? I was like, yeah, he has stamina. That's what
He
I
does.
said. I said it.
He does.
All right.
That's real.
My Lagos, a city for all and a center known for its economic. The hustle is double. Traffic, it's the number.
Do you want to bring us in with these? Well, I'm going to bring us in and then you can, so people have a recap of what we spoke about since you know these two comments with that. And then we'll go into the next one.
Provides quality life scenes. I just love the blend. Nothing like my Lagos. My name is Jonathan Hansen. This is my Lagos.
All right, studio. Indeed, and you, Lagos, are listening to us right now on Smooth Breakfast. It is the locker room with Valentine.
And Folu.
And, of course, Tega Onojaife giving us a breakdown of all the sports stories. And we spoke about some very interesting ones just before the break, which Chimabi comes back to comment on.
Yeah, from the Emirates. He says the sports minister should be probed by the FCC. Where on earth have you seen a sports minister showering dollars on players? If not, these are a red beret man called sports minister. I'm ashamed on behalf of him for doing the job of the NFF. He says, Tega, I totally agree with you. The NFF has failed in every way, the way they treat the Super Falcons. They just concentrated only on Super Eagles. On the other hand, the sports minister is just trying to be political with the move. We quite agree.
We are looking and we are watching.
Yeah.
Let's carry on though onto our next story for this morning. Lewis Hamilton has enjoyed a victory against the odds. It felt like a singing moment right there. So I'll carry on and give you the details of the story. So Lewis Hamilton believes that he would have struggled to keep Sebastian Vettel at bay had his title rival emerged from his pit stop during the Hungarian GP ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Now he said this, and I quote, "If he had come out ahead of Valtteri, would I have been able to keep behind? I would have struggled. And we definitely didn't expect this. We knew the Ferraris would be quick, and they had been strong for the last 3 or 4 races. But he still triumphed against us.
Yes. So, I mean, and shout out to Valtteri Bottas. He did a fantastic job for
Yeah.
how many? Maybe 10 or so laps. It was a lot of laps that he managed to keep Sebastian Vettel and Raikkonen behind him. And the longer he held them up, the more Hamilton's time grew. So first of all, it was one miserly 8 seconds. Next thing, it was 20 seconds. That's how he did it. Look, Valtteri Bottas almost finished walk until he crashed. Almost. And so Lewis Hamilton has already thanked him. He should have for playing such a fantastic team role. And then Toto Wolff called him, of course, the wingman of the day, but he was amazing.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, but what happened was this Hungarian track was supposed to favor the Ferraris, who had the faster car, and Red Bull, who have historically been very good on this racetrack. And it looked like that during practice sessions. I mean, the Mercedes cars were struggling. In fact, there was one particular, I think it was turn 6, that both Mercedes cars, every time they got there, they spun during the practice session.
It was with their control.
It was crazy. And then that was when the conditions were normal. And then just before qualifying, a thunderstorm rolled into town. And I mean, once the rain,
their village.
you see, okay, there's a reason why Lewis Hamilton is a Christian. He walks on water. Trust. Once there's rain, Lewis Hamilton is king.
And then queuing Beyonce.
Like he's like he's just in water. He's just amazing. So once the rain started coming, it was like Mercedes. You could see their smile, their lips just peeled open. The smile was up to their eyes. It was the most, because it erased the advantage that the extra power that Ferrari had found get. It erased whatever reliability, whatever. I mean, because once it rains, it's now a question of how much grip do you have in your tires, number one, and how skilled is your driver.
Yes.
That's all it comes down to. And so even somebody like Carlos Sainz was outpacing the Red Bull. Was out qualifying ahead of the Red Bull. And so what happened was, as soon as that happened, Ferrari struggled with their balance, with their grip, and Lewis Hamilton just glided through. So he qualified in pole. Valtteri Bottas qualified second, and then on the day that they were supposed to race, it was hot. It went from extreme conditions, from extreme cold or extreme rain to extreme heat. So they're not worried about how long the tires would last. And it seemed that Ferrari had their strategies perfect, because Vettel started on the soft tires, which last longer.
Okay.
Which meant he could go longer in the race and build up momentum. And then when everybody else was going to change, he was going to change his tires to the ultra soft, which was the faster tire. So soft longer and ultra soft faster, which meant he could chase people down. And almost walked until he got to the pit stop, and his front tire refused to connect in time. So he spent more time in the pit stop, which is why he came out behind Valtteri Bottas. Exactly, and Valtteri Bottas now held him up, because his car was fast, but Valtteri was defending so well. There was the speed of his car was of no consequence. He was now driving in the dirty air of the Mercedes. So eventually, when he did overtake, it was too late to even mount any challenge. He was 20 whole seconds behind Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis Hamilton just cruised to winning that. So I mean, it was amazing. But what that means is that Lewis Hamilton has gone to the summer break right now with 24 clear points.
Look at that.
And Mercedes is not thinking cars. We've had the fastest cars for the last 2 races, but our speed has been of no consequence.
Hungarian
It's a clear
fast
It's a clear description of bite my dust.
Oh, indeed.
This one is Valtteri. Moving on now, Jose Mourinho won defeat to Liverpool in the United States. In Jose's words, he says, "We play Real Madrid and we have no more players than what we have." He told an interviewer. He says, Antonio Valencia comes in from holiday. I think too much holiday for him. His condition was not good when he was back, then injury, and also go back. He continues, he says, Anthony Martial has a baby, and after the baby's born, beautiful baby, full of health, thank God, he should be here, and he's not here. So we have Alexis Sanchez and Juan Mata, who play every minute of every match, and now we have Real Madrid, and after that, Bayern Munich, and that's our start. I like the way he talks.
I mean,
Reminds
look,
me of a former boss.
he's going to keep lamenting, because here's what it is. He's already complaining that a lot of people struggle.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
some teams, they've showed up. For Liverpool, the Mo Salahs, the Sanis, they've come back. But Manchester United, you're not seeing Pogba or Lukaku hanging around. They're like, we're going to sleep. You know, we played deep into the World Cup, allow us to rest.
Yeah,
And so ultimately, he doesn't have those players. And to make matters worse, Pogba is now talking that he wants to move back to Juventus. His agents and Juventus are having, you know, they're already flirting with each other at this point in time. So that means him losing players. And already Manchester United didn't have a great squad, so they needed to buy. And
They
you
need
know,
to be deeper in their
exactly.
squad.
And you know, once you say it's Manchester United that is looking for you, the price goes higher. So he's going to complain a lot. I think he has already said he's just warming up, because by the time if Pogba moves to Juventus and then they don't get the number of players they need, he's going to cry all season. But what it is that Liverpool loss was really painful, and in his mind it's like they embarrassed us for nothing. It's not like they're winning points or they're winning trophies. They embarrassed us for no just cause.
They use them for practice.
Ultimately, he's going to have to find a way around it, because it doesn't look like it's going to be a good season for Manchester United the way it's going.
Yikes. Brace up, Man United fans. We've got messages coming in. Shegu Manuel up on our YouTube live stream says, welcome back, Folu. Looking fresher. Why, thank you. But says, so the minister comes in as a savior. Politics indeed. Up on our WhatsApp, the messages are flooding in. Victor Asai says, have you actually seen that video of the girls kneeling down to count the dollars and thanking the Red Beret man?
Sad.
I mean, kudos to him, but why is he playing the opposition? The current NFF, very interesting. Algeria Famishaga says, a very beautiful drive from Lewis Hamilton over the weekend. At least this one was merited. I still don't want him to ride into the sunset as regards the championship, and I still want a little bit of a struggle for the championship and competitiveness from the other teams. Preferably, the Drivers' Championship could be decided on the last day so that each weekend can be interesting and not a Mercedes-Benz monopoly year in, year out. Interesting. Tega, do you think, what are the chances of that happening? Okay. Well, Big E from K2 says, Tega always praises Lewis Hamilton like she just produced the new movie called Breakthrough of Lewis. But my support is for the Falcons. With all the investment for the Eagles, they should move some money for the Falconnets. Val, tell Dalung to scout Boy Scouts. I don't know what
Big
that
E,
means.
I've disuncle him.
Okay.
He calls Dalung my uncle. Yeah.
Okay,
I know
I'm
him,
getting you.
so-
Okay.
so-
MI from Akoka says, we do have to very quickly go into this next story. Let's talk about Paris Saint-Germain head coach Thomas Tuchel, who has admitted that he will have to tread carefully around Neymar because he believes he has a connection with the Brazilian star. Gaze into our eyes. He says, I'm very sure that I have a connection with him, and I'm very sure that I need to have a connection with these kinds of players. It's always a big challenge to bounce back, and I will help him with that. But what I want to talk about with him, when I talk with him, it's a secret that I keep. Always looking into our eyes and secrets.
romantic
Tega.
I mean,
What's going on?
what it is that he obviously feels like he's going to struggle with Neymar and character-wise.
Because he's too big for the club.
Yeah, well,
At least Neymar might think so.
and he's not a particularly friendly person. He was the one that fought his bosses in public and
Very true.
do you understand? So he's not that kind of guy. But what it is that he understands. When he came into the system, he understood the history with Unai Emery and Neymar clashing at some point in time. Because they have three big players and they're finding a way to make them align instead of make them compete. And so he knows that he does. When you spend that kind of money, 200 or something million to buy a player, you do have to tread carefully around them. So he knows he's not here to just manage football games. He's here to manage egos. And so I hope he's ready for it, because what I know of Thomas is that he's not the most patient person, and he doesn't fall in line.
Okay.
So
he's doing his best to
so he's giving us PR now. We're waiting for Neymar to really come. When Neymar rolls on the pitch 2 times, if he doesn't get irritated, then I'll know that he truly knows that
he's trying to have a connection. He's trying to have a moment, Tega, a moment.
Maybe the eyes will steady his feet on the floor.
Maybe.
It's possible.
We'll wait and see. Speaking of, we do have to take a moment here at Smooth Breakfast, but we'll be back for the last few minutes talking sports inside the locker room, so keep it locked right here. This is Smooth 98.1.
Sorry, I just wanted us to do that extra story before we lose, because we have two
Should
more.
leave us,
I don't know which one to do amongst it.
because you just mentioned, you just mentioned Unai Emery, so
But Riyad Mahrez was just bought and he has injured himself already. Can you imagine you just buy car engine knock? Think
after we paid
What do you say?
100 million.
What do you say?
you own a first bank
Interesting.
MasterCard. Now, this is
Serious
how it
advert.
works.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
0.5%
Yeah, we literally have 1 minute when we come back.
You
Exactly.
make a transaction
So
between $2,000 and
we'll just take the
$3,000.
Riyad Mahrez story in one
1%
sentence. No need to analyze much.
cashback
Okay.
If your transactions is between $3,001
Ooh.
and $5,000. Now, this cashback is credited into your first bank directly. And know that MasterCard is accepted
I don't want to shout
everywhere.
this.
You can always
Glad I'm happy for you.
Crazy.
a reality.
Do it. Conquer your fear.
Nice.
Conquer them.
Never.
I just dip my feet in the pool to wash out the sand.
So guys, like, no, that's not my life.
That's not my
life
life
is
at
not
all.
for me. I was giving them swimming across from island to island. In fact, when we got to this communal island place, so it's like sort of like a rock formation and then another like beach island. So you can be on either end, but there are also ferries that go across. And I'm engaging my friend Flo. I was like, no, let's swim up now. We don't need to. So I got part way through, and obviously like it's always further in the water than low. My younger cousin was just like, and he's like, he's a big guy, but he was just like, man, I've not swum in a while, so I don't really know. I was like, well, there's a guiding rope, so you can stay by the rope all the way, but yeah, it might be a thing. So Flo and I just started going, well, like, just pace yourself, it's fine, we'll get there. And I wasn't bothered because I swim in open water quite a lot, so I'm relatively comfortable with it. And I was like, bad as it gets, there are people, somebody will show up, you know. So I look back, I noticed that my cousin JJ went back. I was like, oh, they're not coming. So we reached the other side. It was a bit creepy because there's like coral and there's stuff. So when I got shallower, and I just wanted to keep swimming, there was no way because every time when I tried to swim, like a rock would brush my stomach. I was like, so disgusting. So you're trying to put your feet down, you're like, oh my god. So I showed up. So a bunch of us, a couple of the other people, and my cousin said he was going to go in the water. I went and came back, and I was like, oh, I just went to the other side and came back. I was like, what do you mean? Like this swim? I mean, it wasn't a far swim, but we're swimming goes. No, if you walk further in this part, it's shallow, so you can just walk almost most of the way across.
Oh my god, and the whole time you're trying
After your muscles.
Get them!
struggle.
Breast, I was like, just be patient.
The guy was not that great.
I was like, what?
I was like,
So my brother was so angry. He was like, I'm walking back, John. There's only a short space because if you go like a different route,
Yeah.
you could have walked most of it and then just like swim for a short. I was like, wow.
Imagine.
Well, it was good for those cardio. I needed the cardio. I gave them.
That was a consolation.
No, but it was fun. I still wanted to swim, so I was happy I saw him. But it was good, but it just made me laugh because my brother was so offended. He was like, guys could have just strolled. You could have just strolled this thing and look like a boss. I was like, so sorry for you. Yeah, these are to ask questions and just look around you because if we had actually looked to the left, we would have seen that people were standing in an area swimming. Just we were swimming closer towards the boats, and it has to be deep where the boats are because so that they can come in and go out.
Yeah.
But lesson learned. We're back in studio. It is true that we love you and we love music and we love life, but we also love talking sports, which is what we're doing inside the locker room.
So Manchester City's manager Pep Guardiola was in the dark over the extent of the injury sustained by Riyad Mahrez in the side's 3-2 win over Bayern Munich in the last game of the locker room. It was his ankle. We'll see. Maybe it's not a problem. I'm concerned for many things, for injured players who are still not here, but I'm so satisfied for what all the guys have done.
Yes, so they've played very well, but there may be damages. And I mean, think about it. They just got Riyad Mahrez and he came to show his skill only for him to pick up these injuries. Like buying new shoe and then you wear it one day and he will just break.
That happened to me once. I had to call. I said, "Come and collect your shoe."
I'm telling you,
your shoe.
it can be painful, but let's wait to see the extent of the injury before we know how it is. But what it is that Manchester City, I mean, again, Manchester City seem to be having the fun, and Manchester United seem to be the team struggling. But let's wait for the season proper for us to know exactly how it will turn out for both of them.
On that note, we are done talking sports inside the locker room. Life, you don't always get what you want, but you can get the replay of this particular segment by going up on our YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe. We are at youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. And coming up in the final hour is breakfast, Val.
Yes, Lagos, we get to talk. Remember that number you should call. This is the time we open up the phone line. This is 0144 89981.
All right, take down that number and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Keep listening to Smooth 98.1. Thanks, Tega.
You're welcome. Thank you. Look at Hustle will come and